What's up, Laker fans? You already know it's your boy Wally World, baby, at 6:45 in the morning, working on the clock, giving you something about the Los Angeles Lakers. We already know it's been a minute. I always give you guys to have cause for pause. And right now, I'm just working. We're going to talk a little bit about Laker basketball while I'm working. Yes, I have not gotten an ounce of sleep. Not an ounce of sleep. Why? Because I'm still sitting here watching every single Laker game as a Laker fan on the East Coast should do. Truthfully, I'm with you. No matter what side you're from, no matter what state you're in, I am going through it with you. The ups, the downs, the positives, the negatives, the hopes, the maybes. Yep. Right here while I'm still working. Right now, we've seen the Lakers improve slightly. A lot of fans are now hype. And excuse me for not looking at you personally, because again, I still got bills to pay. But as we sit right here and we're seeing the Lakers improve, we're like, we got a chance. There's hope. If we could just add this piece to this piece, then maybe, just maybe, we can make a run in the play-in. I agree. But there's certain things that have to happen for us in order to even consider making a run. And I want to go ahead and put this out now because I told you my panic meter is still at a 10. And the only reason why my panic meter is still at a 10 with this team is the inconsistencies and the injuries and the coaching decisions. Not about the Los Angeles Lakers as a whole, not even about their future, which I think is fairly bright. The ideas that I have for the future, we'll do in another segment, another video. But before I do that, everybody hit the like button, man. Comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let people know where you can find true Laker content that has no bias. It's not about a player-friendly team. It's about the purple and gold and nothing else. Nothing else. So we just got defeated by the Philadelphia 76ers, which was a healthy squad, versus our depleted Lakers, have we've been saying all year. Depleted, 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 depleted. We can never find any consistency on the rotations. None at all. We are picking up guys off the street, picking up guys off waivers, and picking up guys that seem like that are bagging groceries at your nearest supermarket. And somehow, some way, we're still holding on by a string of the 9th seed. It's weird. But one thing that we haven't noticed is that we haven't heard the media talk about Russell Westbrook lately.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I wonder why. Throughout your LeBron James triple-double games, which we'll get to later, without any of that, why isn't the media talking about Russell Westbrook? Did you get sucked into the Russell Westbrook stuff too? I know you did. I bet you did. You haven't been watching Russ for the past 2 or 3 seasons because he's not been on the Lakers, which I agree. So some of you are just Laker fans and not NBA fans. But the NBA fans attached to Laker Nation understands that Russell Westbrook takes this long to even get comfortable. It's starting to feel Washington Wizard vibes. It's starting to feel Houston Rocket vibe. He's been doing this. The only time that he hasn't been able to do that is Oklahoma City because it ran through Russell Westbrook.
Oh, I never knew.
Maybe I don't know anything. I've been telling you on videos, it's not all Russ. Now all of a sudden Russ is actually playing like the Russell Westbrook that we wanted him to be with our impatient selves from game one. Now let's break down the narrative and scenario so we can see why Russ is playing better. You ready? Because Frank Vogel now realizes that Russell Westbrook has to play with the ball in his hands. Haven't you noticed that Russ plays great without LeBron James on the floor? It's not a coincidence. Because LeBron James wants to hold the ball over the half-court line and wants to hold the ball and don't allow the ball to move. So the ball stays on one side of the court and defenses just sit and settle into all of his passing lanes. Once we get a guy to drive the way we want him to drive, LeBron does not have the vision any longer to throw in those passing lanes. Thus, your LeBron James, some of you, your king, is turning the ball over lately more than Russell Westbrook. Sheesh. That's a fact. It's a fact. Can't even deny it. Because some of you won't tell the truth that LeBron James has turned the ball over more than Russ. But it was all about Russ when he was turning the ball over, playing off ball at the wrong times. You let Russ make the decisions and you play LeBron James off ball, which we're getting to with the triple doubles in the great game. You notice when he had the ball in his hands, we only had 2 50-point games. We were 2-9 in the last 11. And now they realize, yeah, LeBron gets 50, but we struggle and he is really exerting a lot of energy. Your coaching staff took this long to figure it out. This is why I go back to Frank Vogel being terrible. I've been telling you this on every season, every channel. I've told you all season. So if you've been following me, you know what I'm saying is absolutely correct. But I probably won't get any credit for that. I'm just a YouTuber that watches the Lakers, that's been a fan since '89. I know. It's hard. It's hard to understand a person that's sitting here working with computers all across the screens, across his face, trying to manage things, and he's not even a coach or any form of a coach. I get it. I understand. But this is why basketball is not hard. It's a mental game. LeBron James has been shooting the ball better than he's ever had before. And because we have a coach that's a yes man and doesn't care about actually what is needed for this team, you get a bunch of yes men saying, whatever you want to do, play center, play power forward, play coach, play general manager, play shooting guard. But in order for this team to win, you have a Russell Westbrook that is almost 4 to 5 years younger that plays the same way that LeBron does. So LeBron has to take a back seat like Dwayne Wade did for him in Miami. LeBron James is not trying to do that. That is stubborn play. Stat packing for some, but to me, I don't even consider it that. I just consider it stubborn play. And sometimes when you've been successful for so long, it's hard for someone to tell you, hey, play off the momentum of Russ. See, a lot of people say, well, why would you do that when LeBron James is better with the ball in his hands? I just told you turnovers. But I also tell you where you could not have to exert energy, number one, because you guys, the same ones that want LeBron James to have the ball and score 50, whine that he takes games off because of so much stress it takes. Remember, he's 37, you're 19, remember? So naturally, I will want my 37-year-old superstar, which is fairly rare, to play off the ball to exert energy for your third and fourth quarters, in which your third quarters all year have been trash. I need him to be able to exert himself now in the latter parts of the quarters than in the beginning part of the games. Now he doesn't have to force himself to score 50 when he could just score a measly 25 to 30 and still win the game. He now has more energy on defense because he's playing off the ball. So when you play off the ball, only thing you're looking for is open spaces for your guard to see you with an open shot, or you're driving the lanes when guards are looking at your playmaker, which is Russell Westbrook. You get a lot of back doors, you get a lot of back cuts, you get a lot of drives to the basket. No one pays attention. And that's what LeBron does best before he started shooting. See, some of you fall in love with just at the moment. LeBron James wasn't shooting the way he's shooting now, so all he was doing is the same thing you need to do off ball. What is the difference of LeBron James playing off ball when Rondo had the ball during the championship? Don't hear you guys that well. And Rondo wasn't a great shooter. What would be technically the difference? Because Russ is more athletic than Rondo. See, you guys missed the moments. But I'm going to tell you what moment you missed. LeBron didn't play in the Philadelphia game. Who played center? And how many points did he have against Embiid? So you mean to tell me Dwight Howard had 24 points? Hit a double-double again? I think I told you about that. Every time Dwight Howard plays a big game, he gives you double-doubles. And you're finding a way to still play LeBron at the center? For what? Oh, I know. Your coaches are yes men. And whatever it takes to add the stat line to keep you to be the top scorer in the league, even though your team is under 500 by almost 10 games. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't know. So let's try this again for the new season that Frank Vogel constantly keeps saying the playoffs, the playoffs, the playoffs, like he's that confident, and we're only a half game. And I like the confidence because you want to keep the team motivated. But maybe, just maybe, when the guys come back, how about we do the traditional lineup, which I think the only way that saves Frank Vogel's face is that he's not trying to show his hand. If he does reveal and go to the playoffs, I think that he would do. But let's try to get the camaraderie now to have Dwight Howard as your center, Anthony Davis as your power forward, LeBron James as your 3, Monk at your 2, because I'm going to say it again, Monk is still your 2 guard, and your point guard is Russell Westbrook. You have a slasher off-ball LeBron that can also handle at times, but he's exerting energy. You have a young Malik Monk that can score the basketball. You have an Anthony Davis that's not putting a lot of stress and press on playing guys like Ayton and all the bigs in the West, not even down to Jokic. You let Dwight Howard bang with those guys because Anthony Davis is going to take advantage with guys of like Crowder, Draymond. Since we have so much hope about the playoffs, let's look bigger and deeper into it. We are a threat if we put this lineup together and work smaller on your back end. And have a bunch of shooters that's just out there wanting to run and play with your secondary squad. But I can't tell you anything that you don't want to hear. I'm just trying to make it make sense for a Laker fan. Dwight Howard has been sitting on your bench, not getting any playing time. Only to go against Joel Embiid, the same way that AD went against Joel Embiid in Philly, but now he doesn't have to bang with him because the following game after the Joel Embiid game in Philly, guess who didn't play in the Charlotte game? Anthony Davis. What's the point of having Dwight Howard? What's the point of bringing him back? It gets really weird. Highly weird. This is what I mean by coaching. If you're going to have hope, have the hope. I have hope. But can we at least make sense of what the heck we got down on the lineup? A lot of you are not looking at the plus minus of LeBron in the past 10 games, and I know you shouldn't look because he's been scoring points. But back to the game of Cleveland, LeBron James played a game in Cleveland to sit out against Philly because LeBron James just wanted to have that open narrative of I can come back to Cleveland and still get 38, 12, and 11 if I decide and consider to come back. I'm not that old washed up guy that'll just be sitting on the bench like Kevin Love, just happy to be on a team. That's what that was for. It was a marketing push. I see that a mile away. To show and prove to the Cleveland fans that I still can do it if I ever decide to come back, or if you ever decide to come get me, I can do it. But do I believe that LeBron James is going to go to Cleveland? I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but I don't believe so. I think Cleveland has already said, oh, you missed that boat. You can't break up with your girlfriend 2 times and think that she's going to come back the 3rd time. I just don't see that happening. Not a good business move. And what young pieces are you going to have to give up to get LeBron? I just don't see it. You're going to give up a lot of guys. Basically the whole squad that you just built up to get a LeBron James who is fading out in the sunset. I don't see it. I think LeBron understands that as well. It's some of you fans and media folk that don't get it. But give us a narrative. Give us a narrative. It's not really a hard game to play. We show how we can compete. We show when the ball is moving against Philadelphia, we can look pretty good. So now, if we can look pretty good, let's keep that same energy when AD and LeBron comes back so we don't have to go back to being stagnant and being old. You see the 20-point games. It's not a fluke. The ball was moving. Guys knew their positions. And everybody was free-willingly scoring. Let's not change that up now. Let's add on to that. Frank Vogel has to add on to that. Unless he's keeping that in the back pocket for the playoff run. And if he is, then he's a better chess player than I could ever be. And on that note, La La Laker out. You know what it is. Give me my theme music.